Beneath the ocean's shimmering surface lies a world that rivals the greatest cities ever built by humankind. Towers stretch skyward, avenues bustle with activity, and countless residents jostle for space in a thriving society. Yet these metropolises are not constructed of steel or stone. They are alive, growing, breathing, and constantly reshaping themselves. These are the underwater cities of coral reefs, and within them hides a story as dramatic and ancient as any chapter of human history. Picture this: a single coral polyp, smaller than a grain of rice, drifts helplessly through the water. Alone it seems insignificant. Yet when it settles, attaches, and multiplies, it becomes part of a sprawling empire. One that can stretch for hundreds of miles, house millions of species, and even be seen from space. This tiny architect builds not for itself alone but for entire civilizations of fish, mollusks, crustaceans, and creatures so strange they could be mistaken for science fiction. Coral reefs are often called the rainforests of the sea, but in truth they are more like ancient cities, filled with drama, alliances, betrayals, and wonders hidden in plain sight. Some of the oldest reefs on Earth began forming more than 240 million years ago, back when dinosaurs roamed the land, and the first mammals were still small, shrew-like creatures. Through mass extinctions, shifting continents, and changing seas, coral reefs have endured. Imagine entire human civilizations rising and falling in the blink of an eye compared to the patient persistence of coral. The Great Barrier Reef, for example, began growing after the last ice age around 20,000 years ago. While humans were just inventing agriculture, corals were already laying the foundations of the largest living structure on Earth. A structure so vast it covers an area larger than Italy. But the story of coral cities isn't just about size or age, it's about life. In 1 square kilometer of reef, there can be more species than in the entire Amazon rainforest. A parrotfish chomps away at coral rock, grinding it into sand. Cleaner wrasse dart in and out of larger fish, fearlessly plucking parasites from their scales like skilled doctors in a bustling hospital. At night, the streets of this city transform. Predators emerge, bioluminescent creatures glow like lanterns, and silent hunters such as moray eels slither through the alleyways. It is a city that never sleeps. And yet, within this paradise, there are also stories of rivalry and survival. A coral colony may wage war against its neighbor, extending long, venomous tentacles to burn and claim more territory. On the reef, space is life, and every inch is contested. Some corals even build towering fortresses to capture sunlight, leaving others in their shadow to wither. But cooperation, too, is at the heart of this city. Each coral polyp is in a delicate partnership with microscopic algae known as zooxanthellae. These tiny tenants live within coral tissue, producing food through photosynthesis in exchange for shelter. It is a pact so successful that it has sustained reefs for millions of years. Break that alliance, and the coral city collapses. Perhaps the most astonishing moment in the reef story happens just once a year, under the light of the full moon. On that night, corals across miles of ocean release their eggs and sperm into the water in a synchronized spectacle. For a few magical hours, the sea is filled with drifting clouds of new life, a blizzard of potential futures. Scientists still puzzle over how corals coordinate this mass spawning so perfectly, as though every building in a human city suddenly threw open its windows to release their secrets at the exact same moment. But if this world seems eternal, it is not invincible. Today, coral reefs face their greatest crisis. Rising ocean temperatures cause coral bleaching, a tragic event where stressed corals expel their algae partners, turning ghostly white. Without the algae, corals starve and die, and entire reef cities crumble into ruins. Pollution, overfishing, and acidifying seas add further pressure. Imagine a metropolis suddenly losing its power, its food supply, and its citizens all at once. That is the reality of modern coral reefs. Half of the world's coral reefs have already vanished in the last 50 years. And yet, hope remains. Just as ancient human cities sometimes rose again after destruction, coral reefs too are resilient. Some species can adapt to warmer waters. Scientists are experimenting with coral nurseries, breeding heat-resistant strains, and even transplanting corals back into damaged reefs. Communities are protecting marine areas, giving the reefs space to recover. In some places, these underwater cities show signs of rebirth. It is easy to think of reefs as distant and irrelevant, hidden far beneath the waves. But the truth is, our lives are intertwined with theirs. Reefs provide food for billions, protect coastlines from storms, and even hold potential cures for diseases in their chemical secrets. To lose them would not just be an ecological tragedy, it would be a loss of history, of culture, of one of Earth's greatest wonders. So next time you stand at the edge of the sea, remember that beneath the surface lies a city older than Rome, more diverse than New York, and more fragile than any human monument. A city not built by architects or emperors, but by countless tiny creatures working together in silence. Their story is still being written, and whether these underwater cities endure or fall depends in part on us.